What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. Taking a look at Tistina. I did a combo video earlier, and I finally got around to doing the list, and it actually went through a lot of evolutions. For a moment, I was gonna throw my list out I had in the beginning out, but yeah, I actually played it a little bit extensively, and there's a lot of things I'm going to talk about as I go through the deck profile. I'm going to show two more like combos after this. Like once you get the idea, you kind of get the idea. But yeah, I mean, I recently bought a Tistina core, and unfortunately, it's just not really in my opinion, like a very coherent strategy. A lot of the cards don't really do anything. They're all different levels, so it definitely needs a link monster of some sort. But I really love these two cards. Like I just think they're cool, especially like this one. I think it just like literally looks cool, and that's why I bought the core. And I'm hoping that it gets more support later. But kind of simplified things. I did show a couple combos that showed some of the other cards, but it's just a little bit too bricky. And consistency is king, in my opinion, when it comes to the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, Crystal God Tistina and the Demigod, pretty standard, right? Like you got to play both of them. That's kind of how the whole combo works. And I do run 3 of the Fallen of Tistina. So this is the one that puts the field spell in the field zone, which is kind of nice because it like doesn't like lose to Droll. Like it's not one of your Droll targets basically. And Ash Blossom also technically doesn't work, although they could Ash the field spell ability. But in any case, the whole idea and the reason why I play this card at this copy is if your field spell is destroyed, this brings out a guy, and so does this one, the field spell. It brings out basically the 2 pieces of the puzzle, and which is really important. I think it's kind of the only way to do that in Tistina, if I'm being honest. And that's obviously like the key interaction. Now, your opponent has to destroy this card, and I don't think there's a way to do that in Tistina. Other than, I mean, I've only found one solution, and that's Artifact Durandal. This card replaces a monster effect on the field or a normal spell and trap. Now, it has to be a normal spell and trap, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is technically an Omni Negate. So it's an Omni Negate that also forces your opponent to destroy this, kind of setting up your big Book of Moon play. And that's like the whole concept, basically, of everything in here. So, the Kashtira engine kind of facilitates it all. It gives you an XYZ monster. It gives you a free level 4 without using your normal summon, and also the card like Fenrir is good going first or second. It's really where the whole engine comes in. I think you could drop this to 2 because you kind of just want to see Unicorn in your hand in a really weird way. But I do run it at 3 now. You could drop one of these and play like Called by the Grave or something like that. But yeah, that's just my opinion. 1 copy of the Rise Heart, and then here comes the Utopia package. It's Coat, it's Onomatopoeia, and it's Glove. Though the more I play it, especially this version of the deck, it kind of doesn't feel like you need both of them, but it's probably worth playing for consistency and also a free body, technically. It's Astraltopia, and that's why I love playing the Fenrir, or the Kashtira engine, because this can special summon itself if you control an XYZ monster, which sometimes can be hard to set up, but with Fenrir, or Unicorn, I keep saying Fenrir, with Unicorn it gives you an XYZ monster for free and a level 4, so that's where the engine obviously is just really, 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 really good. So that way you have 9 copies of your play starter, which is the most important thing. 3 copies of Ash, 1 copy of Kashtira Theosis, 3 copies of Onomatopoeia, 3 copies of Prosperity to kind of, bring everything together. Like you're probably going to find 2 of the pieces just because you have so many copies of it. Like you have the Pressured Planet, you have Unicorn, you have Terraforming, cards like that. But, you may not see one of the other engines and so on and so forth. I think this card is absolutely necessary. Like, through playtesting, I think this is probably one of the most important additions. And also, you can banish 6 in this deck versus other XYZ kind of decks that I play that you really can't do that. Terraforming, I talked about. Onomata pickup. 2 copies of the Bastina. And, you play Terraforming, so it's kind of like you're running 3 copies, but you're also running this. And you just don't want to see this too often because it doesn't do anything by itself. 3 copies of the Pressured Planet, and then 3 copies of Imperm. On to the extra deck. I'm going to talk about a few cards that I don't think are... I don't know. I'll talk about my experiences here. Zeus, obviously. Maybe you want to run more of these, and I'll tell you which cards you can cut. Shangri-Ira is obviously just, kind of good. It brings something out. It also, frees up zones, and sometimes you do need that. 1 copy of Durandal. This is the key card in the deck, obviously. I kind of talked about that. And then you have your tiny little Ptolemaeus, package to get there for free. If you can make a level 4, you attach this at the end phase, and then you go into Durandal. 1 copy of Tornado Dragon. Now, you actually really do need to play this. There are times when you use pickup, and, your Durandal, obviously, your opponent gets to choose what spell and trap to destroy, and you don't want your opponent to destroy your pickup because it doesn't do anything. So there are times when you need to go into a level 4 or a rank 4, which is Tornado Dragon, to pop your own card. It can destroy any spell and trap on the field. It's not just your opponent's, meaning like you only have the field spell left. Exciton Knight, I do run a lot of these kind of general removal cards. Maybe I should run even more. Like even like that old like Spider rank 4, I think could be useful. Abyss Dweller, it's good against graveyard decks, but also like there are times when you need to detach a material so you can bring something back. So you can go into multiple rank 4s. I think I have a replay for that, so I should be able to show that. The Zodiac package obviously helps you go into Zeus. Now, I have used this before, and I kind of... Essentially, you do want to take these out. Like, after playtesting, I just don't play them very often. They did come up every once in a while. But, you know, you're going to have a lot of these, like, spent rank 4s at times when you go later into the duel. But honestly, I think this would just be better as, like, general removal. So I'd probably put these 2 slots here. For whatever, like Big Eye or... insert the rank 4 deck or the rank 4 monster of your choice. Draco Sack is a great way to just get rid of your opponent's cards. Like this comes up quite a bit actually, which is kind of weird. And I wasn't playing this before, and that's terrible. Like you have to play this card. It's so important. There are times when you're going to flip a bunch of your opponent's monsters down, and these guys will just be here. And you would think that'd be okay, but there are times when your opponent like has stuff, and you want to get rid of all those face down cards because you will with this combo, right? It's kind of the whole point of the deck. So yeah, definitely 100% play this card. Castel, and this again, just general removal is actually so extremely valuable. It's kind of silly. I'm going to show 2 more combos just because I know I showed some different stuff last time when it came to like how you can play the deck a little bit. This is the first one, and obviously this is where Pot of Prosperity comes in. You don't need the full Kashtira engine. Like you don't need to see Unicorn first. Again, at the end of the day, you just have like a level 4, which is great. And the cool thing of it is, like, especially with this deck, when it comes to Pot of Prosperity, you are going to, like, dig quite a bit in this deck. Like, you can go through a lot of cards, like 10 of your, like, kind of combo play cards. That way, when you Pot of Prosperity for 6, you have a very, very high chance of doing what you need. And there you go. There's the Tornado Dragon. I didn't remember if my combo did show that. But, yeah, obviously, you know, you're going to go into Durandal. So you do have Fenrir in this case. Tornado Dragon is technically an interruption, and, you know, it's pretty good, especially against field spells. And if your opponent was to activate a normal spell or trap or a monster effect on the field, they would have to pop this card. And I will showcase one more, and I think I do Abyss Dweller in this one. And you could also, I guess, just technically go into Tornado Dragon too, depending on the matchup. But yeah, you're going to see Pot of Prosperity here again. This is like probably the best end board that you can get. Like this is essentially what you want to see every time. The Rice Heart is free. And then, you know, you can go into whatever. You can get the field spell. You can send another copy to the graveyard. It doesn't really matter in that sense. Again, you just want to like thin your deck as much as possible to see the other part of your engine, which with Pot of Prosperity going into 6, you're so likely. You have 9 copies of like essentially every other card that you need. In this case, I guess I got rid of like 2 hand traps to do this, which maybe isn't all that necessary. But you can still see like this is a pretty decent end board, especially for like considering Tistina. You know, you have Fenrir, your opponent can't use graveyard effects, which are just so popular these days. And then, you know, let's say your opponent activates a normal spell or trap, and then you're going to pop that card, and then there you go. You can bring out the 2 guys. And then, you know, you can, like, set everything face down, go into the big guy. Again, I cannot stress enough. Like, at first I thought this card was like, oh, I'm not going to really use this card. I don't think it's super necessary. And now I know it's like a necessity after playing it. But, yeah, that's Tistina. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Other than that's going to do it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time.